So the dude who made the 3 crazy shiny rocks? Oh, Faenor? Yeah, that guy. So was he just like an evil elf? It's a little more complicated than that. I'm starting to understand that everything in this world is a little more complicated. Good. You're understanding now. There was one thing that he did that was honestly pretty sick and awesome, but it does take a little bit of context. Oh god. Here we go. So Melkor, who was the original Dark Lord, who was way more powerful than Sauron, Sauron was actually a servant of his, ended up destroying some of the Valar's prettiest, shiniest toys, these 2 giant lamps. What, you're gonna tell me that these lamps were like the sun and the moon before the 2 trees, who were the sun and the moon before the sun and the moon? Yeah, actually, it's crazy that you know that. But he destroys these 2 giant lamps, gets imprisoned for like 3,000 years, ends up being chained up for 3,000 years, goes before Manwë and is like, I'm sorry, I'm actually a good guy now, and they let him go. They let him go? That's not important. He ends up going to Faenor and is like, yo, your brother, I think he's trying to take over your throne. He's lying, of course, but he's trying to, like, incite violence. And Faenor ends up crafting weapons, which is a huge deal in Valinor because there's no need for any kind of, like, war in Valinor. It's the Undying Lands. It's basically heaven. Not actually heaven, but, you know. So what? Does Faenor, like, deny him because that's crazy? Oh, god no, he falls for it. Faenor totally falls for it, crafts a bunch of swords for Melkor, ends up making this huge scene in front of his brother, and for his trouble, gets banished. How is that a cool thing that he did? I'm getting there. So after Faenor gets banished, Melkor goes back to Faenor and tries doing his sneaky lying thing, but he ends up going after what Faenor loves the most. His wife and kids, right? What? No, it's his 3 shiny rocks. Melkor tells Faenor that, hey, the Valar and your brother are actually after your 3 shiny rocks. And it's only in that moment that Faenor's like, this guy was called the Dark Lord. I think he might not be up to anything good. So he slams the door in this dark god's face. That is a pretty baller move. But man, what is up with this guy's 3 shiny rocks?